The last one we worked on was adding linear expressions. Today it's subtracting linear expressions, and so the only difference is that in between we have this minus sign. These are both still linear expressions. Remember, an expression has, or an algebraic expression has a variable, at least one operation, and numbers. And then a linear expression is where the variable is to the first power, so meaning like x to the first power like that. And when it's to the first power, we don't put anything. And then it also can't be multiplied by another variable. So these are both linear expressions, and we are subtracting them. From here, the only different part, first part stays the same. It's a 1 out front. We're distributing. 1 times 2x is 2x. Bring down your sign. 1 times 4 is 4. The only different part is right here, where we have and let me grab a different colored pen. Now we have a -1, and we're distributing it through. So -1 times -1x, remember that's really a 1 there. -1 times -1 is a positive 1x. Bring down my plus sign. -1 times 5 is -5. Now when we find our like terms, make sure you are taking the signs in front. So we have 2x plus 1x, and we have positive 4, and here's where you have to take all of the signs, plus -5. So our answer, 2x plus 1x is 3x. And 4 plus -5, well, if we're on the number line, 4, this would be go backwards, 5 would be a -1. And you can write it -1, or you can write it plus a -1. Right? Either one works. Go down to the bottom, and again, we have two linear expressions we're subtracting. Same thing. Make sure, I told you in class to highlight that minus sign so that we remember that's distributing a -1 all the way through. Works the same way. Distribute a 1 through. It's not going to change anything. When you multiply by 1, it all stays the same, and you bring down your sign. Here, though, we are distributing a -1. -1 times 7x is -7x. Bring down my sign. -1 times 1 is -1. Now, these get a little bit tricky, but what you need to remember is minus a negative. Well, when we're subtracting, we can always add the opposite. If we add, the opposite of -1 is +1. So we'd have 6x plus 9 minus 7x plus +1. Now our like terms would be 6x and -7x, and then +9 and +1. When we look at this part, 6x minus 7x, 6 go backwards, 7 would be -1x, or you could write it -x, and then 9 plus 1 is +10. Again, either way would work, whether you have the coefficient or not there. There's another way that we did talk about doing this in class, so if you don't understand that way, the other way to think about it, and I'm going to rewrite this problem, 2x plus 4 minus -x plus 5. The other way you can think about it is in problems, when we're subtracting, we can add the opposite. Well, if we take the opposite, it would be x, and because negative would turn to a positive, and here this positive would turn to a negative, or the plus would become a minus. And now, these look exactly like the ones we did on Monday, where it'd be both a 1 and a 1, so we could get rid of the parentheses, and all of it would stay the same, 2x plus 4 plus x minus 5, and then with your like terms, 2x plus 1x gives you the 3x, positive 4 minus 5 gives you the negative 1. Either way works. You're doing the exact same thing, it's just a little bit of a different thought process. Again, on this one, it would be the same way. And you can think of it as add the opposite. Positive 7x becomes negative 7x, minus 1 or a negative 1 becomes plus 1 or a positive 1. And then you would come up with your like terms, 6x and negative 7x would be your negative 1x, 9 plus 1 gives you your positive 10, just like we found over there. So whichever way makes most sense to you, that's the way I want you to work on it. But again, it is not too much different than what we did the other day.